and smoke drugs and stuff?
Well, you just don't say the C word or the F word or the S word or the, especially, I know you're Mr. N word. So do not say Nancy. Please do not say Nancy. We're live. We've been live for like an hour. We saw him naked. Did you see that? No, we're not. We're live right now. Ladies and
Hi,
gentlemen, I'm
internet.
talking, I'm the Amazing Vito, and I'm talking to uh, the one and only, the original, John the Magic Guy, who is Snoop Dogg's favorite comedian, favorite magician. John has taught me magic. And thank you so much, John, for coming. Just real quick, it's my dad's birthday today, and I feel bad because I can't see him because of COVID. Just hold on, John. And this is what my daughter got me. She's supposed to get me this for Christmas. You can't see it, but it's that night that the sword comes out and there's the Holy Grail.
Oh yeah. So you take the sword out and you have to stick it in somewhere else, and it opens the door.
Yeah, you stick it on the top, and all of a sudden, like this, the Holy Grail, like this thing opens up, and then there's this Holy Grail there, which is really weird because I wrote a story, I wrote a book that will never get published, but it's about the Holy Grail. So it's very weird. She got me that, but very nice.
No, I
Uh,
think that's good that like a short, weird Italian is bringing medallions back.
all right, so here we go.
Oh,
All right, so I thought this was going to be a serious
nothing.
conversation, but if you, all right, if you want to insult and be rude, that's fine.
I
Okay,
love you, buddy.
I love you too. I'm just all right. John is John, how long have you, well, first of all, I'm not making that up about Snoop Dogg. He's uh John has appeared and has performed in front of numerous celebrities all over the world. And he is also when he did it for Snoop Dogg, Snoop left a great message. I'll leave a link on it when John freaked him out. So that way you could see I'm not making this up. Um,
So
yeah.
actually, Snoop recognized me on a social media platform, and then he came to London a couple of years later, and that's when I met him. But like he didn't remember making the thing. I snuck my way back, showing, hey, no, he knows me. Look, I got to do this, and I got to show him a couple tricks and smoke a joint with him. So that was pretty fucking cool.
Smoking a joint with him. That is so weird. I can't see, especially Snoop Dogg smoking a joint. Um, it's not you.
Do we have product placement?
You well, actually, that will.
What's the name of this podcast?
It's called. There is. It's just the Amazing Vito show, I guess.
Amazing. So the Amazing Vito show, sponsored by Canada Dry.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, we
good
are.
stuff.
Right?
John the Magic Guy, St.
Yeah.
Thomas, send me a case.
Did I show you my medallion? All right. So, um, how did you start off? John shows me magic too. So, uh, how did you? How like what was your first love of magic? First of all, how did you start off?
I was a lonely, lonely kid. And my mom was a single parent and she worked. So I'd come home from school and I'd have just free time. So I got books and I just learned and learned. Probably about 12 years old, I started. 16, I started doing kids' parties and just junk like that. And then I eventually got into doing magic at restaurants, walking around table to table doing that, which led to me doing that at corporate events and weddings, which is where I sit now. Unfortunately, because of COVID, I have not worked except for one time with you in almost a year.
I know it sucks. That really does suck. Do you think once the crapola is gone, because I've talked to a few entertainers, um, and they're very. It's weird because I watch the comics in the states, and they're like, yeah, I got dates here and I got dates here, and I'm like, how do they get away with playing, uh, certain, uh, cities?
Well, I
I
guess just
guess
like some places have less restriction and they've maybe they're socially distancing at the club or whatever. I know a lot of comics and magicians are turning to doing shows online and like Zoom outfits for corporations and stuff like that. I wouldn't even know where to start. I'm available to do shows online, and I will also teach magic for a small fee.
Sure.
JTMG.
Yeah. Do you have the website?
No, I don't have a website anymore. It was costing me money, and it wasn't giving me any jobs. So I'm just on every social media platform: YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram. Just search JTMG. You'll find me.
Okay. Um, do you want me to put your email up so that way people will all right,
Send me dick pics.
I'm not gonna put your email up. I'm just joking.
No, if
So
they want to find me, they can find me. I'm around. And
yeah,
I am the
so
best magician in my weight class.
well, you're the original John the Magic Guy. Don't you hate it when people steal your name?
I hate when people steal all sorts of stuff from me, Vito.
When people steal like a trick you do you get will you call them up? Just a question. Like, will you call them up or do they know that they could get away with it and just go, he's not gonna because in stand up, you could actually call out the guy and other comics will actually stick up and say, hey man, by the way, that's such and such. There was that whole thing with Carlos Mencia when Joe Rogan and him went
Yeah.
on stage and Rogan called him out and Mencia is still, he's like, who do I apologize to? Who do I? And instead of just saying, hey man, I stole it. I screwed up. I apologize. Let's move on. He's still, holding on to that, who do I apologize to? Well, probably the people that you stole uh, your bits from. And there were strong bits. Like, I understand that when you have a show to fill, you're like, hey man, I need material every week. I need material, but you should credit the person that
Right.
you're taking it from. Uh, I've taken uh, uh, two bits where I've actually talked to the comic and said, is it okay if I use, we're very similar. So do you mind, you know, if I use that bit? And that's when I was starting off and very nervous. And the guy was like, hey man, they're very old. It's an old bit. Go run with it, man. So it was just to get confidence on stage.
I think with magic, it's different. Like very few magicians come up with completely original tricks, right? And when they do, they protect that like anything else. Like you would protect your material. That's your material that you've come up with, you've written, and yeah, go get permission. But a lot of magic is just people's interpretation of different tricks, right? So, like you, I'm not offended if somebody does the same trick as me, even after seeing me do it. But if they're using my same jokes and stuff like that, the things that make me John the Magic Guy, that bothers me a little. Like
Right.
I have a line where I say, "Oh, say the magic words, John, you're so handsome." It's just a dumb line, but it gets them just to go, "Oh," just a silly little moment. And sometimes I use that when I'm using misdirection, or sometimes I use it just to get a laugh. But then I heard another magician friend of mine using it, and that kind of ticked me off.
Yeah. I know who it is. Do you want me to say it?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. I won't. I won't. I won't.
But
All
I
right.
have an issue with you, sir,
Why? What's the problem?
because for years now I have been doing something called the 15-second movie review.
Well, I do the 20-second Leaf game.
Yeah, so the difference is you've added more time, but the punchline is the same.
Yeah, but mine's funnier.
No, but mine's better.
But mine is about sports. I'll put a link to what he's talking about, and you see that you tell me if there's a difference, please say so. If there isn't, see what jealousy does to people. See
I
what
am. I'm so jealous of you, Vito,
it's
especially now that you have
yeah,
that new
I know.
medallion.
It's got a whole 50 something views. So I'm just raking it
Well,
in.
see, I own it. I've got thousands of views.
Do you really have thousands of views on that?
On my YouTube in general, I have over 2 million views.
On that, on the
No, not on that. Some of them I have lots, but like that's stuff I would put on Facebook and Twitter and TikTok. So yeah, I have literally thousands.
I didn't know you had a YouTube page.
You're on my YouTube page.
Who am I thinking of then? Hold on, let me just check something.
You've seen all my videos. You're in some of my videos.
Where the hell?
We did a show
Oh,
recently.
there you are. Okay, I'm seeing it.
We did a show in the summertime, and I used Vito as a volunteer because we were kind of worried about COVID and stuff. And so it involved me putting on an apron for him and putting some stuff on his head. And it's a great routine that I've always done, and it goes over well. But your face during it, Vito, it was just priceless. It's like you didn't know what was coming, and you looked uncomfortable.
Yeah, that's pretty much. Let me just try and. I'm gonna try and. No, that was a cool thing you did. I want to see if I could share Snoop Dogg here with you. I'll figure this out one day. You should have seen when I had the live. When I tried to go live. Okay, so screen share. There it is. Here we go. Let's see if this works. So there we are. And let's play it. There's John the Magic Guys.
That's me.
You dig? John the Magic Guy. That's we performed the last time. That was. Let me now how do
That
I
was
get
fun.
Yeah, that was. Oh, stop share. So yeah, that was. Did you see the smoke behind Snoop? I wonder what that was. But yeah, that must have freaked him out, and you must have been just doing simple stuff like the whole.
It's an ex-girlfriend of mine gave me a Snoop Dogg doll. And so I used to put him just sitting with me while I was doing magic tricks and Snoop Dogg music, and I made it float and I made it, do part of tricks. And he saw it and just gave me that shout out, and he followed me on that social media platform, which no longer exists. And I've been chasing him ever since. I need an updated shout out.
Well, hey man,
He'll
I
see
know
this,
some.
of course,
I
because
know
it's
some
the
big
Amazing Vito
wigs.
show.
I know some big wigs that will. If you need to talk to him, I'll get her done, as they say. Who
You're the
says
man, Vito.
I'll get her done? I'll get her done. Who's the comic that says that?
No, don't say get her done. That's Larry the Cable Guy.
Get her done. That's what he says. Get her done.
That's one of my favorites of the roasts is when they roasted Larry the Cable Guy, because the regular comics just let him have it.
Yeah, but I like Larry the Cable Guy because I believe that as long as you could make people laugh, I could care less. As long as people sit there and go, it's hacky, it's simple, it's blue collar. I don't care. Hey man, if it's funny, it's funny. That's all I care about. As long as it's entertaining, I'm there. I think too many people are losing. I think comedy's going the way of. I think Bill Maher was the first, but that's sort of his deal. Is political. I'm not a political comic. It's not my thing. I'm there. I just really just want to have fun and be silly and make people laugh. And same with John. I've seen John perform several times. It's nothing political. It's just entertaining, and that to me is important for magic wise. The whole point of magic is to take you out of the everyday and make the impossible, where you just sit there and go, wow, that was how the hell did he do that? Since I was a child, uh, when when Doug Henning did it the first time I saw him, when he had those teeth on him. Remember, he always tried to close his
Teeth
mouth.
and the mustache.
Yeah, he had that porn mustache. Yeah, and he was like, it was magical, and I
And
remember
the
as a child,
wonder. It was all about the wonder of
the
it all.
wonder. and he'd have these teeth on him. Doug Henning. He passed away.
Oh, he
Two.
went crazy at the end. He was going to build a floating pyramid in Niagara Falls.
What?
He was setting up this I want to say religion or cult, but it's not that. But it was like all to do with the meditation and becoming Zen. And he had designs for a floating pyramid. So it was, it was an optical illusion due to magic, but it would look like the thing was floating in Niagara Falls.
I did not know that. Uh, Remember the Amazing Randy passed
Yeah, I
away.
loved him.
Yeah, he was fantastic, but he was very close friends with him. And he would always choke up telling the story of how when Henning was diagnosed and he thought he was going to have, see, when people are diagnosed with, these horrible diseases and they don't have long to go. I feel horrible because my buddy John, I told you earlier, his father passed away, and today was my father's birthday. I haven't seen him in a year because of the whole COVID. Um, and you start going crazy. You literally start going crazy because you're like, I can't. I have to see my parents, man. But you don't want to get them sick, and you're terrified. So, and then his father passed um, last night, and he was a man. John was a man. I'll tell you right now. He stopped working to take care of his father because he had dementia, and he would change his father like a loving son would, and I would do the same thing. So hats off to Doug. Doug, hats off to Doug. He's a sweetheart of a guy. And he performed one night. He opened up for us just for one night. And we'll have him back. But it just shows you when people, when Screech, he passed away yesterday, and people didn't. You could make fun of the guy all you want, or you could say whatever you want. You just think of the hell, the nightmare of going in there and being told you have stage 4, it's lung cancer, probably going to die, and you're going to die. And that's the thing where I know I'm going off on a tangent, but the whole
You're
point of
depressing the shit out of me.
no, the whole point of stand up and magic is a getaway, okay, of the pain and
Every day.
suffering, right? I mean, that to me is so when Randy was when he found out that he Henning said, I've got a cure, and I'm seeing this guy that's going to cure me. And the Amazing Randy knew that it was a scam,
Yeah, of
and it
course.
was heartbreaking. It was heartbreaking. So, anyways, if
Everybody should do, YouTube Amazing Randy psychic surgery.
yes, I've seen that. If you ever see that, watch that. I'll even put a link at the bottom if you don't know. It's psychic surgery, and that was one of the most disgusting things, taking people's money when they're at their most vulnerable. And
There's a clip of him on one of the shows. It might have been Carson, I think it was,
it was
where
Carson.
he's doing it and he's explaining exactly what's going on, and it's just fascinating. He's
Yeah, and
a great, amazing man.
yeah, he's got the chicken. He's pulling out chicken gizzards, and people think they're being cured, and they're not being cured. They, again, you're,
Don't smoke.
yeah, go on.
No, I'm just telling all your viewers not to smoke. Don't use me as an example. Just hire me.
Yeah. So, anyways, yeah, to me, it's just magic is and stand up, any form of entertainment should be an escape. It shouldn't be. I have no interest in what your politics or what you want to say on stage. Zero. I just want to see you either make me laugh or freak me out with a trick. So,
Should
anyways,
I freak you out with a trick?
yeah, show me a trick.
All right.
It's not a hooker or anything like that. I mean a trick, John.
I understood the concept. I'm going to show you a trick with my wedding band.
I thought that never came off.
It does for this trick, but it is solid and metal. And I also have a key. Now, I chose my band because it's just the right size that it'll stay on the key. It won't come off. You can't get it off unless you bring it off the top. Yes?
Yes.
You agree, Vito?
Yeah, I do. I agree.
But look, I'm going to keep the top in view. You see, I'm not doing anything silly. The keys or the ring's still on the key. I'll keep the top in view the whole time. But if I go like this, it'll come off. Weird, a puzzler. But this is even weirder. Watch. There's no extra ring, just the one. And again, I'll leave the top in full view, and I'll try and reconnect it a little bit. Okay. Oh no! Oh fuck! Fuck, Vito. Oh, I'm not supposed to say. Oh, F it, Vito. I messed up.
Nice. See, you stole that from me. I could play that game.
Yeah, he taught me this. He taught
I
me everything I know about magic.
well
And then I
done,
went on and
John.
learned a whole bunch more.
Well done. I wish we
Yeah, it's
had a
kind of a pain in the ass though, because it doesn't fit on my finger anymore. This might cost me my marriage.
That's wonderful. All right, now it's my turn. This is a wizard's battle. Ready? Pick a number
Yeah.
between 1 and 10.
Okay.
Was it 7?
Yes.
See what I mean? No
Yeah.
trick, no, hey, no gimmick, no nothing.
No.
Just using the old oh, that is sharp. All right, let's rock.
Okay, I'm gonna write a word on this pad.
Okay. Is it apple?
No, I just.
Okay, it was just a guess. It was just a guess.
Okay. Do you have any idea what the word is?
I could see from the mirror behind you.
Yeah. Okay. What is it?
No, I can't. I can't.
Do
I
you know
have
what it
no.
is?
Did you really write a word?
Do you know what the word is?
No.
Exactly. Exactly.
So I got it right.
You did. You're amazing. The amazing Vito, ladies and
Thank
gentlemen.
you. I don't even try. I don't even try.
I did teach him all the magic he knows. It's him who fucked it up on stage, not my teaching.
No, but see when I do screw up on stage, it's the beauty is I could always go to people will go, "Hey, that's great. You look like a bumbling magician that doesn't know what you're doing," and and I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's a great
Yeah, that's my character. You got it.
that's my character." I know, and
I
you practice a lot. I have not practiced anything. I mean, like I notice you and Al really works hard. You are constantly anytime I see you or I'm allowed over for like 5 minutes, there's a time limit. Literally, he has a time limit. So he'll have a trick. He'll have a book, and he'll have a new trick, and he's working on it, and it's very cool. My son was he's like he does look like a wizard, you know. So when you that was very nice of you when
I
brought my
either get
son over.
wizard or homeless guy or terrorist.
Well,
So
you have a nice pad there, so he was very you have a huge fish tank. Um he did a few tricks that he was just see kids when they get freaked out, they'll do this.
yeah.
Right? Because they didn't compute fully until after we're in their car, and he's like, "Dad, how did he do that?" And I go, "Well, he's into the black arts, so stay away from him. He's got the touchy hands." What's the bit you do? The one about the hypnosis? The hypno.
Oh, I I start off my shows with dumb jokes. I used to be a mime, but it's only now I can talk about it. And I met my wife on the net. We were both shitty trampoline artists, blah blah blah. Just dumb jokes, but one of them is people always ask me how I got into magic, and I was taught some by my uncle, who was a hypnotist, who never touched me inappropriately.
I love that. Say that again.
My uncle was a hypnotist
I'm
who
just
never
kidding.
touched me
I'm just kidding.
inappropriately.
No, it was, I love that bit.
Never
Do
touched
you,
me.
do you remember who's the
Vito
guy?
has touched me inappropriately.
Remember what's his, I don't know. It was one guy that used to steal your bits all the time. I've been there where, uh, I've performed where I know there's a thief, and I had to do a gig with him, and I do a whole gig about childbirth, and then he forgot about 3 years later. We ended up doing the gig together, and just before he was opening up for me, he goes and does the childbirth, which is exactly like mine. And I remember the look on his face when he realized, when I was coming up on stage, what he just did. And it's a 5-minute bit. So it was, it's very, I wasn't happy. I didn't hit him like I do most people, but I was not happy, to say the least. So I know that there is one guy out there that when you do your stuff, either they'll take bits like that from you, or they'll take uh, the name, which I don't like. I think if you got a name, that's your name, and that's just not cool. But
You know what? I'm not worried about it. It bugs me sometimes when people fuck with you like that. Excuse me. Sorry, Vito. I'm a dirty magician, so I'm having trouble with my mouth. It bugs me sometimes, but I really have confidence in my ability. I think I'm a pretty good magician. And I think that, if you saw me next to some of these other guys or people who, you know, might belittle me or you or something like that, we blow them out of the water. It's crazy. We're
well,
that good. Not
I
only
had,
that, but we're both more handsome than any other magician I've seen.
hey man, I've had a pirate make fun of me, and I'm like, pal, you're a pirate. You're, you're a pirate. So, um, yeah, I mean, I don't know. People are very odd, I think, with this COVID thing. I don't know. I hope people, especially, entertainment wise, are nicer. I hope. I hope that it brings out that, hey, let's just be thrilled that we're doing this.
Yeah.
And I mean, the bickering was getting a little. I try and stay out of it, but that's why I never stick around after show. People are like, "Why don't you stick around? Why don't you, why don't you
Come
hang?"
for a beer.
People always want to buy me a drink, and I don't drink, so you know, I just do not like the whole drama. There's always, if you stick around enough, there's always drama. So I go, you know what? I just want to get home, go home. I got enough drama. I'm not I hate drama. So I hope when things get back that people are nicer.
I think that they will be. I think that we've all, as a group, have know what each other's going through and what we've been missing out on, and we're all like relying on savings, and we're all performers, so we don't have savings really unless we're like top notch performers. I was lucky and I sold my house right before the pandemic, so I had this little cushion to fall back on, so I've been not suffering as much as others. But I think that once it's opened up and everybody can come back and go to the restaurants and organize a party or a Christmas party or a wedding where you can have actual guests, people are going to want to make the most of it. And I think we're all going to see this surge in business for the first 3 months after this all blows away. And I think that'll be great. Like we could do shows weekly. We could do shows, everything. People just want to get out of the house. I'm just speaking for myself. I know I want to get out of the house. I've been stuck here, and yeah, I can go out to drive and go to Walmart, or I can go to Tim Hortons, and I don't want to go to Walmart because it's a fucking cesspool.
Yeah.
But I've gone out just to go out, just to go drive around town. I had nowhere to go, nothing to do. I just had to get out from these walls. And I think a lot of people are feeling like that, cooped up at home. But, like my wife and I just got married in September, right? But this whole year we've been living together and not going anywhere. And I think we've put like about 3 years on our relationship in a year because, even your marriage, your wife goes off to work, you take your kids to school, you're going
No,
off and doing a show.
yeah, but she's working from home.
Oh, even better. So you can,
But
like, I'm
now
not wearing pants.
the
This is the
kids,
beauty
yeah,
of it. I'm not wearing pants.
the kids are well, the one, he can go to school and she does homeschooling, and he actually just started school Monday. So which threw me off because I didn't make his lunch. So my wife's yelling at me, and I'm like, I thought it was just me and him gonna play God of War all day. And my wife's like, "Did you make Sterling's lunch?" And I was like, "No, I'll make it at 12 o'clock when we
Or
eat." She's like, "He has
12 o'clock's when
school."
you get up, 3
So
o'clock.
I was just jumping around, and I just got him. I think I gave him a couple pepperoni sticks and a Coors Light. So that's all we had to get going. So, oh, you show off your new dog.
The wife's home. He's just sleeping.
He's sleeping. Oh, he's got a Rottweiler. You got to see this thing.
Yeah, it's the big scariest dog.
Absolute beast.
Come here, Dexter. That's my wife swearing in the background.
It's all right. She's fine.
That's all right.
She's fine.
She's beautiful. She is fine. You're right.
Well, you're lucky you got married, so you've had honeymoon. You've had quite the honeymoon happening. So that's really cool if you think about it.
Yeah, it's been it's had its ups and downs. Hello.
Hi. I'm not saying.
That's okay.
I just want to say happy birthday to Vito's dad.
Or were you listening in the car? Watching it in the car?
John, you took off.
Oh, what happened?
I don't you.
Oh, my low power thing came up. Sorry.
It's okay. Tell her thank you.
You're welcome.
She wished my dad happy birthday. It was very kind of her. Tell her thank you. You didn't, but that's fine. Whatever.
No, I didn't. I didn't really. It didn't even fucking occur to me. I'm sorry. I'm too nervous to be being on a big time show. My head's all kerfuffled.
So do you think when, because last time doing a show, I've had, when we had intermission, I told the guy, the headliner, I said, let's not do an intermission, because if you do that, just the way, remember when they reopened COVID just for a little bit?
Mm-hmm.
And I had about 3 women come up during, the break and say, I'm sorry, I'm having a fun time, but I need to leave. And I was like, I knew that was going to happen because they got nervous, you know what I mean? Like they got nervous.
Well, yeah, it's a scary thing. It's a possibility that you could bring home death to your family, right? And it might be a possibility, and some people believe it's fake, and you don't need the mask and whatever. But it is what it is, and it's really costing us business. It's costing our families. They're stressed out because we're not working. They're picking up the slack, and it's costing the people who have to homeschool their kids. It's just affecting everybody, and it's making everybody so stupid and paranoid that if like 6 months ago we had all just worn our fucking masks, we'd be fine.
Mm-hmm.
Now we have to wait another 6 months.
Well, there isn't the vaccine. When I talked to my parents, they were saying that no, they still have not. The doctor was saying that told my mom and dad that no, he still does not have the vaccine, and because they want to get vaccinated just to get it going, just to get,
Yeah,
because I believe you have to get vaccinated once, and then 3 weeks later you get another shot. That's my understanding.
yeah.
I could be wrong. So,
There's a
uh,
new one coming out where it's just one shot, but it doesn't have as good a percentage as the other ones. The other ones are like 98% effective or something like that. This one's only 70% effective, but it'll be readily available. It's one shot, and we could have it going quick.
good. I hope. So let's get off of that. So uh, when you did the thing that amazes me is how you could pick up a book. And I mean, back then they didn't have YouTube in the 1920s, right?
No.
So they just had a book. So when you picked up a book and read on how to do a trick,
Hmm.
how you must be very, you must, read, IKEA putting up a shelf must be pretty easy for you, because
I am
I have a
actually good at that.
I have a couple of those old books that an old magician gave me for free, and trying to read up on the stuff. And it's like, okay, this is what you do with your hand. You gotta, there's a French drop, and I'm like, French drop, and then I got to look up what French drop is, and there was no YouTube, there was no nothing. Uh,
Oh,
how
you'd
did
be
you?
surprised, because that's
How did you?
generally
Sorry.
in the past. Sorry, generally in the past, that's how people learned things from books. If you wanted to learn how to play piano, you had to pick up a piano. Well,
Yeah,
not
but
pick it up,
you go to a
but you
piano
learn from
teacher though.
books. Yeah, that's true. You could find a magic teacher. I'm your magic teacher.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
haven't been paid yet, by the way.
yeah. You have.
Not for the magic lessons.
My
You owe me
presence enough. I make
20
him laugh.
grand.
You got to hear him laugh. When I get him going, oh God, he's just like, pull over. I need a cigarette. I mean, it's fun. It's fun. Uh,
I say, pull out. I need a cigarette.
Again, it's a kid's show. I mean, I don't,
Oh, it's the Amazing Vito show. I'm sorry. I thought it
children,
was.
this is live, John. I have children watching this.
Hi, kids.
Have you ever done that to somebody that's stoned?
I practice on myself in the mirror a lot.
Right.
Yeah, I actually when I lived in BC, I used to go to they were called wellness houses, and it would be people who were suffering from diseases could go there and smoke medical marijuana. And I'd go and do shows there, and I'd be like, "Here, pick a card. Shuffle them up. I'll hold that for you." Get back and do. Yeah, I love doing that. I like stone people. I hate drunk people,
Yeah,
and I
drunk
do a
people.
lot of weddings, so I get a lot of drunk people.
Yeah. Do you know the one that I hate the most? I always get a drunk woman. They are the worst.
Yeah,
Like they are the biggest turnoffs. First of all, a drunk woman is just such a big turnoff. And then going to a club, and before you go on, you kind of scope out the room just to see how things are going. And there's it's like one table, and it's loud, and you just know that it's just some blathering. Um, I hate to say it, but it's a 90% of the time it's a female, just who she was a stripper. She's not getting the attention. You go up there, and all of a sudden she needs all the attention for herself. And I never understood that, man. I'm like, just enjoy the show. Just, I don't get people like that. But yeah, performing at weddings. I had a woman so drunk, John, that they told me before the show to bring her up. And I was like, bring who up? and they go, "Oh, it's a surprise, but just ask her." What I couldn't even remember the name. Helen. Ask for Helen. So I go, okay, I understand there's, and it's a corporate. So you're trying to make the client happy. So I go, hey, is there a Helen here? And I'm here. And she falls, and I go, oh, here we go. And she came up there. She pretended she couldn't speak English. She couldn't. And yeah, like I'm pulling teeth. And I was like, man, I'm not going to hit you because you're a woman, but the guy that told me to bring you up, I'm going to beat the shit out of him. Like that's the whole time I'm up
Just
there.
kill your act.
That's all I'm thinking about, right? And when we were done, it turned out okay, but it didn't have to go. I mean, it was awkward at times. She fell on stage twice, like literally fell, and I had to help her up, and it was just, I was like, it was the guy that because most people come up to you, go, hey, can you do this for me, or can you do that? You try and accommodate.
Yeah,
But
for
this
sure.
was the owner. This was like the guy who was paying the money. So I was like, all right, I have to kind of do it for, because he's the guy that's paying my bills. So he's paying me that night. So anyways, yeah, I notice going to a show, sometimes some people just, they think, I had a woman come up. Do you ever have this? I've had this happen twice, where a woman has come up after the show, after heckling the whole time, and they think they're helping. That's what she said. She goes, I thought I was helping you. And I was like, no, you're not, you're not helping me. You're not, I'm in the middle of a bit, and you yell out something stupid. Hair dryer. It's like, what? What? It's like, so anyways, what's the worst thing that ever happened to you on stage?
Um, I don't know, like I'm pretty good at handling drunks and stuff by now, so I would go back to my beginnings of magic. I once did a talent show in high school, and somebody went backstage and messed with all my props. They were all set up a certain way, and so every trick went wrong. That was bad. I had a kid puke on me once while I invited him up in front to do, like, in the living room. And the kid comes up to stand beside me, and I'm doing a trick for him, and he pukes on my leg. That was fun.
Like, was it because he was like disgusted in the act, or was it?
Yeah, I think it was the act, not the tons of candy and cake, but I think it was just John the Magic Guy is that repulsive to kids.
And he threw up? Oh man. What did you do?
I went to the kitchen and cleaned off my leg and went back and finished the show and took my $250 and said thank you very much. They tipped me $50.
Oh man, I wish you taped that. Do you ever have, there are shows that I wish I taped that people would not believe some of the stuff that has happened. And then when you tape it, nothing freaky happens. But
No.
once you put away, you put away your camera, something weird, hilarious, that always happens. Like
Yeah.
when we're talking about I was doing this show every Monday. I do a crypto show about everything from lake monsters to Bigfoot, starting it out. And I notice whenever I go out, I love hiking, not now, but I like hiking when it's nice out. And weirdest things will happen. You'll see like like a woodpecker 3 feet away, just hitting wood. And you don't have your camera with you because you left it at home. Because I hate bringing. It's always, you always, when I used to smoke, I'd always have to bring my pack. If I have to bring my pack, I have to bring my lighter. And I'm like, so it was like, I got to go. I got to take this with me. It was getting annoying.
Oh, muffin.
Sometimes I just like to just leave the phone at home and not be bothered. And that's when something cool will happen. Me and Sterling saw uh, a bird of prey carrying a bass, like grabbing a bass out of Lake Margaret, and just flying along, flapping along, and I'm, my son was like, Dad, look at, and I was just like, this is so, feel bad for the fish, but man, it was beautiful. It was just a freaky moment in time. And again, I left the camera at home. So
Yeah,
do
but
you have do you have that where you
not
know
really. Things fuck up on me on tape or in real life without the tape. But that moment with Sterling, I think that would have been ruined if you'd been there with, you'd be looking at it through this little rectangle. That's something special that you and him can remember for a long, long time.
well, I
And
asked him the
only
other
the two
day,
of
and
you, not
he has,
Facebook.
he has no memory of it.
Oh, well, then
He's like,
just
Dad, if
you.
you taped it, it would have helped me remember that. And so it's just double-edged sword, I guess. Me and John have these battles. Believe me, he is trying to be as we're trying to be as civil as possible, but we are
Yeah,
like
you're
two.
nice.
I'm like a young Daniel Radcliffe in Harry Potter, and he is Voldemort. And the battles that we have is just absolutely, it's a slobber knocker, as JR would say. So
What do you think of it? Like, they had the Royal Rumble, the wrestling Royal Rumble the other day. And so I saw clips of it on YouTube. And in the background now, instead of a crowd, they just have a bunch of television screens with people's faces on them. It's like
what?
this wall of video screens, and it's just you can go to the wrestling thing, but only through your computer or whatever, and then it projects your face as one of the members of the crowd.
See,
It's
and that to me
weird.
makes that what was worrying me was because when you're staying at home and you start searching the net, and then they start going 1984 is right here, 1984, and then you see stuff like that, it starts screwing with your head. But I watched the football game last week, and there were people in the stands. So, but there were John, what I didn't understand was there were social distancing, and I understand you want to go see your team. I mean, I want to, if I could afford, I would go watch the Leafs if I could afford it. But uh, right now, to social distance, just say, okay, if we're 6 feet apart, John, if I need to go to the bathroom, I still have to squeeze by you. That's what's so stupid. So I understand that you want a social distance, but in that environment, that is virtually impossible because you're going to bump into somebody. So, with wrestling, I understand. Okay, the Royal Rumble, where it was, I guess the state that they were in or the city, they weren't allowed to have fans. But that's why Vince McMahon has moved WrestleMania to a place where you can have fans. Like, okay, the UFC.
Yeah.
I didn't know this. I don't watch the UFC. To me, it's violent, and I'm not a violent guy. So watching the UFC, they would have uh, uh, they went to an island, and the guys were all tested, and you had to stay at this island. And I'm like, this is like something that Dr. Evil would come up with. And it was smart.
Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, but what's weird, John, is I watched the fight, and it's actually, see, I don't like it because I love boxing, but the UFC, that's just a different animal for me. Uh it's just watching a cockfight to me. That's all it is, really. So
They do wear tight shorts.
well, you could hear the thing that I was getting, like, I was like, okay, this is getting interesting. You could hear the guys when they're fighting. Like, you could literally hear them speak, like, just like grunt, or like ugh, or their corner is yelling at them, you could hear them perfectly, whereas if there was a crowd, you couldn't hear that. So that was neat to watch, but it's not my cup of tea. Hey, if you like UFC, that's great, but it's just not. Again, I like old fashioned boxing, and I know UFC is just a different, yeah, a different. It's got boxing and karate and whatever you call it, jujitsu and wrestling, and you got to know all that stuff. The thing I know I'm going off on a tangent, but I talked to a UFC fighter and his coach, and he said out of 10 fights, no matter what, you're going to lose one of those fights because it's just the nature of the beast. Now, unless you're a guy like, uh, remember, what's his name? Uh, like the top notch guys that can stick around for a bit, like JSP, what's his name? From Montreal.
Oh, you're asking the wrong guy. I don't
Anyways,
watch any of this.
he was champion for quite a while. So and then he retired. So yeah, I don't get how that works, but yeah, seeing video screens. I mean, they wanted me to play at a uh like uh it
A
was like
Zoom meeting?
no, because the Zoom meetings, the guy that invited me to do it, I watched his shows before. He had like 7 views, and we were getting paid by views, like people tipping. And I go, how much money, you know, is like, what am I getting at? Like 35 cents here? Like, you know, so, and then had to go like to where they were doing it from a car parking lot or a movie theater, like a outside, uh, and it's so dumb. It's just like people honk the horn, if they find it funny, they put their windshield wipers on. If somebody wants
Oh
to
my God.
yeah, if somebody wants to heckle you, they'll put the high beams on, and I'm just like, this is so stupid. I was like, see ya, you know, I
Yeah, I haven't had that experience yet. Thank goodness.
but
That's crazy. But I haven't worked. So again, if anybody needs a virtual magician,
yeah, if you want a virtual magician, call John. He's very personable and
or if
not.
you want one that's affordable and not as good, call Vito.
Yeah, if you're looking for just, like there's a high class escort, and then there's the ones that kind of hang out at the truck stop.
Yeah.
So, which is, that's horrible to say. I feel bad for them. But I
Look at
always,
this.
I always tip them well.
That other trick I showed you with the key was called a penetration because the ring penetrated the key or the key penetrated, however that works. Here, two solid hoops, and you have to watch. They link.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Now, John, that
A lot
trick,
of the tricks
what's
I
that
do
called?
are pardon?
What's that called?
This is called a penetration trick, and I am the master of penetration. Just ask your wife. Heyo.
No, I lost you there for a second. Hold on. There you are. See, I love that. Very cool. I remember one that you did. I don't think you could do it where remember you did one where the wallet freaked me out, where you made me write on a card, then all of a sudden it showed up. You're like, here, check this out. And then all of a sudden my folded card was in your wallet, which it
Yeah,
was
that's
that was how did you okay, you're not going to give away the trick, but did you read that, or like
tricks like that, they're again, it's like the magician's interpretation. You do it with the sleights or the moves that you know to get you to the end. So like every magician would do a version of that trick. Mine just happens to take a few extra turns and the card ends up folded up in my wallet with the signature on it, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, it's a pretty standard trick. It's called the ambitious card.
Ambitious card. Yeah, yeah. That freaked me right out. That was really, really cool.
That's the thing is the stupid thing about magic is tricks like that. And it does get a good result, right? It gets a good reaction from the people I perform it to. But that's taken me years to get the sleights right, to get it the right pacing, to get it to, and now I do it for every person that I perform for. But that's like years of practice. I can go to the magic store, I could buy a little $12 deck of cards and get way better reactions with no skill whatsoever. That's why you're
That's
successful.
what I do. I
Yeah.
mean, that's what I do. It freaks, you know, I don't understand. I had no idea that I guess magicians and comics are mortal enemies because I've gone to perform, when people are like, oh, it's Vito doing stand up, great. And I'm like, no, I'm going to do some magic too. And they're like, what? And it, I have a wonderful time, but they hate it. they're like the comics hate it.
The audience loves it.
The audience loves it. And for me, I'm like, dude, I'm not here for you. I'm here for my, the audience and also the paycheck. So as long as and I always get the reaction from the manager there just going, that was really good, man. That was awesome. So, but again, it was me practicing, remember how nervous I was? And how you're like, hey, just go out and try it. And I went out and tried a trick that I literally, I did it, but people are like, that takes a long time to learn. But it's sleight of hand or and you got to be smart how to do it. Remember, I showed it a few times. You're like, no, don't do it that way. You could see this, you could see that. So that in the back of your head, it's not as easy as people think.
No, of
Even
course.
even the simple tricks. John saying you could buy a deck and whatever. You still need to know what you're doing. You cannot just go out and buy stuff. You need to practice and practice and practice, which I am. The Amazing Vito is like the Amazing Jonathan. I am lazy to, unless there's a gig coming up, and that's where I'll sit there and go, okay, I'll work on it and I'll figure it out. But if I don't have a gig, I don't, and which is wrong. That's the wrong approach because I see Al Gross, who's an awesome magician. You're an awesome magician. I see you guys constantly practicing, like constantly honing your crafts.
That's the thing is I'm always trying to learn new stuff. But when I go and work, I generally do the same 6 things that I know work for me.
That's what you told me.
Again, right?
Yeah, that's what I did.
I bring in new stuff. Well, for our show that we did, I brought in some new stuff and tried it out, and it went over pretty well, I think. So I'm going to work on that. I can feel confidence to bring that in. But I know the tricks I do when I'm doing a wedding or a corporate event, and I'm walking around performing for small groups of people. I know what kills, and I know what gets laughs, and I know where to get the laughs, and I know when to leave. It's very important. But I was going to say to your point earlier about anybody can go and buy a $12 deck of cards and get wows, but a lot of it isn't the trick, right? It's not how I do the trick or the method of the trick, or I do the same trick as another guy. It's the performance. It's more about the presentation. And my thing is I like to make them laugh. I like to put them at ease, but I also like to have like killer magic so they don't think I'm just like some little dorky pirate, But it's all about the presentation. It's like musicians. It's not the song, it's the musician and how they interpret it and play it. So I don't know. I like the stuff you do, Vito.
I appreciate it. When James came out, who I haven't talked to in a while, but James came out, it was very kind of him to come out and support me. But he traveled like 3 hours with me for this gig, played a bar, and it was all rowdy. And it was the first time I was going to do these magic tricks. And James goes, Vito, uh, I couldn't stop shaking because it was like it felt like 25 years ago, open mic night. And I was just like, I was terrified. And he just goes, Vito, you're as white as a ghost. And I go, yeah, that's my normal color. And he goes, no, you're white, man. He goes, just, and I go, you know what? I'm just going to do stand up. That's all. I'm not going to do any magic or anything. But of course, I went up there with the briefcase, pulled it out, and I started off with an easy trick, got them laughing. And then,
That's all you need is that first little laugh,
yeah,
and it'll
that's
give you
all I
that
really
little bit of
need.
confidence to go for the next bit.
Yeah. And I had a couple screw ups, but they laughed their brains out. And James was just like, you look like a bumbling magician that just, and I'm like, because I am. But, well, I think what a lot of young people have to learn, when people asked me when I started off, the guy that I watched that I fell in love with was Sam Kinison. Okay. Now, which which is really weird because a woman, anyways, she ended up giving him a BJ that anyway, she was a manager. So because I'm like, did you ever meet Sam Kinison? She's like, I sure did. And she told me what happened. I just thought, oh, okay, well, we're never gonna, anyways. So uh I wanted to be Sam Kinison,
Can you
right?
imagine the smell of Sam Kinnison's crotch?
Well, it was in an elevator, and he was in there, he was drunk and high with another girl, and he yells out to her, "Hey, why don't you suck my," you know, and he whips it out, and she goes and sucks on it, and I was like, "You what?" Yeah. She passed away.
Honey,
I don't wanna, yeah, but she did pass away. Look at my girly, I gotta work out again or go on roids. Look at my shoulders, man. They're gone. The shoulders are gone. Just,
yeah, it must be like it's Baby Gap is more expensive too. So,
you're always insulting me, and I've been nothing but nice. See my medallion?
hey,
So,
yo, you see my medallion?
so I'm trying not
Got that
to,
bitch gold plated.
try not to. So, yeah, I tell people just be my mistake was I was trying to be somebody that I could never be, right? So just be yourself. And that is, come up with your own voice. That's what I tell people. Don't worry about what other, like, you see how people are performing, great. Try and be cool, collective, whatever. But if you could come up with just being you, you'll go a lot further in this business. If you're trying to be uh, Eddie Murphy or you know George Carlin or whatever, unless you can pull that off, okay. But most of the time, that's the biggest mistake, is you're not finding your own voice. And you will if you just be yourself. I tell them,
Right.
be yourself. When you come off stage, you'll sit there and go, hey, wow, I get it, I understand, I don't need to play a character, where I do play a type of character, but it's just an embellishment of who
Yeah.
I really am. So that's what I tell them. I go, just be yourself, embellish who you really are, or whatever you feel comfortable with. And it's the same thing with magic. I mean, the tricks are the same, right? Like, making a pen disappear in your hand. But we're with Amazing Jonathan, he would make it go up his nose, come out his ear, and then he would pretend to do a bowl full of cocaine. And he made a simple trick, sleight of hand trick, into this hilarious bit, and he made it his own. So yes, if you're starting out or you're thinking of doing stand up or anything, any performing, be yourself. Public speaking, I have people all the time going, hey man, I gotta talk in front of an audience. I am terrified. And I'm like, yes, I'm nervous too, but it's a different type of nervous because you're thinking about, getting your act and what you want to use. And, you just, when you show up and you're going, yeah, this isn't going to work here for if I use this or I do this. But if you already have a speech written out and you just need to talk to an audience, just be yourself, or the best thing to do is just look at somebody in the first row. And if they're smiling, uh, if they're not smiling, pick somebody else. But if you pick somebody in the first row that is smiling, just talk to them. And then you'll get your confidence, and you'll feel fine. And then you'll look up and then you'll freeze and you'll screw everything off and you'll run off crying in the bathroom. So,
I was always told that when you're nervous, you should imagine your audience naked. But I started doing kids' birthday parties. It was pretty creepy.
yeah, John, like really, again, we're doing this for kids. I mean, I don't know. I
And you know
don't.
what? Something else that bugs me. They always tell you, "Hey, it's you should give blood. You should give blood." But I gave some to my kids this Christmas, and it freaked them out.
See what I mean? See what I mean? That whole COVID thing's a lie. Everybody's been working, pal. Everybody's been working.
Just not me. Well, thanks a lot, Vito. You're my booker. You're the guy who gets me that sweet gig at Studio 38.
Yeah, it's a nice place. Doesn't it feel like a loft?
Yeah,
I love the atmosphere in that room.
I love
Uh,
that. No air conditioning and no.
yeah, do you have to go there with that? I mean, honestly. So, uh, I remember you brought me to a secret show, which was really neat. It was called The Secret Show, and it was out in Waterloo, and we got to see Wilbur perform. I really liked watching him.
And
Uh,
JP and Scott
yeah,
and
so
Graham.
yeah, and there were so many. They would come out and they would. I wish London did that.
Well,
That's what I wanted to happen in London, where you would have this secret show where you just come out, people pay $5 or whatever, and you don't need to do an hour. I just need you for 6 minutes. Go out there, do 5, 6 minutes, do a little trick. And remember when we had Wesley come out?
yeah.
How awesome that kid was. So I wanted that to be kind of a show where people come out, uh, do 5, 6 minutes. And the whole thing is practice. If there's a trick that you're not, or a bit that you want to try out, come out and do it. You're
Hmm.
not going to be out there for an hour. I keep telling people you're not going to be, unless it's a paid show where people pay $25 to come in. But if it's just like the secret show, that was like $5 to get in. It was a cool little area. I love the setup that they had.
Hmm.
And we sat there and we saw some brilliant magicians in Waterloo that were just these guys were just uh, it was a good club.
Yeah,
And I remember you took me out to that club. It was in a church.
yeah.
It,
I gave a lecture.
yeah, you gave a lecture, but they were so kind that people were coming up to me after, where I thought, uh, just because you're not a magician, you just feel at a place when you see people do, amazing magic or whatever. So you just be very quiet. You don't want to tell them you're doing comedy magic. So And then people were coming up and just going, "So what do you do?" Told them. They were like, all of a sudden, they would come up to me 2 minutes later and go, "Here's a trick. Here,
Yeah,
here, try this. This would
yeah.
be
We
perfect
had
for
a
you."
couple of really good clubs
Yeah,
that we
you
went
took
to this
very
last
sweet.
summer.
I wish I wish London was like that. I mean, that's what I wanted for Studio 38. I wanted it to be a place where feel comfortable, don't judge anybody. Everybody has different skill levels. Have fun. That's the important thing. And if you build up a repertoire, then you can perform on those Saturday, Friday, Saturday night shows that pay well. So yeah, I wish that uh, there was more of that. With the whole COVID thing, that's what I bloody well miss.
Well, that's what we got to do for during COVID is plan for when it's not here anymore. So if you want that to happen, I think you could make that happen. All those guys from Waterloo that we went and saw would come and perform. JP would for sure.
Well, JP, I believe he's a street person, right?
No, he's
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, he was a nice guy. He was a
he's a
nice guy.
he's a good guy.
And then same with Boyd, very nice man. They had a few guys freak me out when I went there. I believe two of them. When I'm watching these guys, and I'm going, I've seen them before, and two of them have performed for Penn and Teller.
Oh yeah.
That was very freaky. Where I just all of a sudden I realized, oh, they've been on Penn and Teller. They didn't win, but they did very. I mean, to get on that show, you'd have to be pretty good,
Yeah, I'm not sure I could fool Penn and Teller. I could probably entertain their audience, but I don't think I'd fool them with any of my stuff. Maybe one.
No, I wouldn't be able to fool them. I bet you I could make Teller speak. Just say stuff like, "Get off the stage now, please, for the love of God." Oh, he's an atheist, so he'd be like, "For the love of Pete," or whatever they say. So,
Pizza.
yeah, is that something? If they said to you, I don't know why you would say that. I think you would do well on that show because I've seen you perform. You've got where I've your house there is clean because you're married now, but before he would have a room full of just tons of magic. It was like you were like uh
It's all in a closet now.
yeah, well the wife, she's in charge. She's the boss. So but yeah, you would have all this magic stuff and you were going to do this. You were showing me an umbrella bit that was you would have these umbrellas just come out and it was very cool. Um yeah,
Yeah,
like
that's the kind of stuff I want to bring into the Studio 38. Is just like, yeah, I've been doing this all my life. I've never performed it, so let me try and perform it. So you'll see the umbrellas. I have to pee, Vito.
okay, that's fine. We'll wrap it up. Do you got
I
one
have to
last
pee, internet.
do
What?
you have one last trek before we go?
Sure.
You're not going to pee in front of everybody, are you?
No. I will show you the world famous
Okay,
three
let me give you the
green
intro. Let me give
poker
you the
chips.
intro.
Go ahead.
Ladies and gentlemen, I give you John the Magic Guy and his famous 3-ring. All right, never mind. Just do it, John.
3 poker chips. Nothing extra here. Nothing extra here. 1, 2, 3 poker chips. Does that seem fair? Now, one at a time, these poker chips will travel from one hand over to the other. 3 over here, one at a time, will travel from over here to over there. You won't see it. You won't know what to look for, really, but it'll just happen. Was that too fast? I didn't mean to confuse you. Nothing extra here. Nothing extra here. Not too much up here. 2 coins or 2 chips that haven't traveled, 1 that has. Now, it's the 3 green poker chip trick. So if there's 1 over here, there has to be 2 here because there's 3. But if there's 2 over here, then that leaves only 1 over here, which is confusing. Nothing extra here, nothing extra here, not too much up here, not too shabby down there.
Depends.
2 poker chips that have traveled, 1 that hasn't. Watch, if this one I just go like this and it jumps right over there. You have 1, 2, 3, nothing extra here, nothing extra here, not too much up here, not too shabby down there. And that's for you, internet.
That was awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, John the Magic Guy. And hopefully we'll be performing soon. I hope so.
Yeah.
All
Look
right.
for me on social media, just JTMG. That's all you need to remember. Just search JTMG on anything.
All right. Well, you want to do another one next week?
Sure.
Okay, we'll do another one next week. That way, you got to do a whole new act. All right, but I know you got to go to the bathroom. Thank you, John. I appreciate it, and he's taught me so much. Wonderful teacher. He can be grumpy at times, but you just give him a bit of. Anyways, thank you, John, and I really appreciate that, ladies and gentlemen. Please subscribe. I'm the Amazing Vito. Be good. Be kind to one another. All right. Ciao.